Hi there, I'm Whitney and welcome to my channel. If you're interested in seeing content on learning how to have financial discipline, gaining financial freedom, as well as follow me along on my journey of investing into my first investment property and everything adulting, then you can click the subscribe button, and I really hope that you enjoy my content. Today I'm sharing a few tips that I utilized in order to save around $15,000 in a year. Number one is to set up a budget and actually utilize it. You have to actually utilize the budget and track your expenses, and that is something that I had to really discipline myself to do. Having a budget might not seem glamorous, but I promise you it is a glamorous thing to have, because you can really know what you are spending your money on if you have this major goal that you're trying to attain. For me, it's buying my first property. For you, it could be getting a car, or it could be getting a house or your first apartment. You can get what you want if you're choosing to spend your money wisely and tracking everything that you're spending your money on. Just so you know, in the next video, I will be giving a budget breakdown of my budget of 2020 and creating my budget for 2021. What is not accounted for in my expenses spending wise goes towards my savings. Last year, I was making between $16 and $19 an hour pretty much the whole year, and I saved $15,000. Like, most of my money went towards my savings account. In other words, just because I have free money that I could spend, it's not my money to spend because it's going into my savings towards my goal. Now, this is for someone who's specific and really driven on whatever they're trying to get. But if you're someone who feels really content with where you are and just wants a savings account to be able to have as an emergency fund, but the rest of the money you're able to spend on whatever you want, then by all means do that. But if you're someone like me who is working towards a specific goal, then I would suggest allow your spending money to be within your budget, and whatever else, do not spend that money unless it's for a dire emergency. As I was editing, I realized I forgot one of the most important, which is absorb knowledge. Over my time of savings, I spent a lot of time absorbing knowledge. I have physical mentors and they teach me a lot. My parents are actually my physical mentors. And then I have virtual mentors on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and any book that I choose to read. I just feel like it's just absorbing knowledge. Number three is hold yourself accountable or have an accountability partner. I like to say I don't have an accountability partner, but at the same time, I feel like my parents are kind of my accountability partners. I don't share what I'm spending my money on. I feel like because I'm living under their roof, I need to make sure that I'm spending my money correctly or saving what I'm supposed to be saving towards the goal, so that I'm not overly extending my stay here and I'm not taking advantage of the generosity that they're giving. So I guess you could say that that's my accountability, but I really don't have like a person that is my accountability partner. If you are someone who is not able to have discipline when it comes to money, I would suggest finding someone that has the discipline or that's on the same journey as you and that's willing to also hold themselves accountable. And that goes back into setting up your budget and actually utilizing the budget for what it is for. Number four is live at home. Yes, I'm 25 and I live at home, but it's the most financially responsible decision I could have made at this moment, especially during a pandemic. Living at home has afforded me the opportunity to save as much as I'm saving because I'm lowering my expenses. With not having utilities, not having like a real rent, not having parking, like all of that extraness that comes along with living in an apartment or living in a house, I'm able to save so much money, and it's so helpful, especially for where I see myself being. Live at home if you can. If you are someone who cannot live at home, then I would suggest finding other ways to lower your expenses housing wise, because that's typically the most expensive thing. My suggestion would be getting roommates, or maybe not choosing the most lavish apartment that's actually in the city if you're a city person, and choosing one that's on the outskirts. It's really about making more smart decisions regarding your money. So number six, which also goes into lowering your expenses, is finding alternatives for non-essential items. By alternatives for non-essential items, I mean subscriptions, beauty, going out, just finding less expensive ways to get that, yet maybe not spending as much money as you typically would. So subscription wise, instead of having Hulu, Netflix, HBO, I don't know, all of the above, I pick and choose which ones I have, and then I ask other people if I can be on there. So like my family has a Netflix account that I'm on. I pay for Hulu and I share it with the family. As for beauty, when you see my budget breakdown, you'll see how some months I went without doing anything beauty wise, like getting waxes, getting my eyebrows done, getting my nails done. Also, just because I'm saying find alternatives to things that are non-essential, that doesn't mean do not treat yourself. I believe that you still need to treat yourself, because if you don't, then one day you're just gonna binge and spend so much money. I learned that very early on in the beginning. You have to treat yourself or else it's not gonna work. Number 8 is eliminate debt. I personally cannot speak on this because I don't have any debt. I went to school on scholarship, so I didn't graduate with any debt from undergrad, and then currently while I'm getting my master's, I'm paying as I go, which is costing me in my whole, you know, savings bucket. But it's worth it because I personally really truly do not want debt. I know I will gain some when I buy my property, but as of now, if I don't have a reason to have it, then I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of money on credit cards or any of that to gain debt. Number 9 is do not compare yourself. And that's one of the hardest things and something that I've struggled with for a long time, but especially in this time of like graduating from college and like entering into adulthood and getting my first job, living at home, like all of this stuff it's playing a role in just me comparing myself to what everybody else is doing. And I have to really work very hard daily to be like, I'm where I'm supposed to be, I'm on the path I'm supposed to be on, and that's it. What everyone else has going on is none of my business. These few things are basically what I utilized in order to save $15,000, which is absolutely crazy, but it's doable if you are making smart moves. Like if you're just gonna spend your money frivolously, then no, it's not gonna happen for you. But if you're really disciplined and well-minded in what you're doing, then yes, it can happen for you. But again, things are going to just drop out of the sky and become obstacles. So don't forget about that. Like, try not to get discouraged, I would say, because that is something that can definitely happen. At least for me, that was an issue multiple times throughout trying to save for this, especially because I was so determined to get this goal, and then something would happen like having to pay $6,000 for school or having to pay $2,000 for my car, and it would really discourage me. And you can tell in my budget, which you'll be able to see how it discouraged me. If you like this video and you like the content that I'm creating, then you can click the subscribe button. Again, my content is about financial understanding, gaining financial freedom. Follow me along on my journey of investing into my first investment property and everything adulting. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, everything. My first video in this series is about my experience saving $15,000 for my first investment property. It is basically a video diaries of the months of saving and just my discouragements and my highs, my lows, how I overly planned or underplanned for things.